So hi, we're Elephant Elbows, and this is Roadtrip Nation for graphic design. I'm Janet, this is Dakota, and this is the wonderful Mr. Traeger. He's in charge of the aviation club, and he teaches geology and also with earth science. And so we're going to ask him a few questions about his life. And of course, Rachel is the camera girl. So here we go. And so we're going to ask him a few questions about his life. And of course, Rachel is the camera girl. So here we go. So one question we wanted to ask you was, how long have you been a teacher? And have you always been a teacher at La Cañada? So could you explain about that?
So I've been a teacher for 13 years, and all of my years have been here at La Cañada High School.
Okay.
I did my student teaching in the Santa Barbara school districts when I was up in Goleta, Santa Barbara. But I've pretty much been doing all my teaching here since I got my teaching credential.
Okay, that's interesting. So we also wanted to ask, when did you first decide that you wanted to be a teacher, and what did you do to pursue that?
So the first time I thought of being a teacher was in I actually had 2 senior years in college. It's what we call that 5th year, I guess. And it was my first senior year in college, and I saw an article in the Daily Nexus, which is the school newspaper at UC Santa Barbara, and it had an advertisement for pre-professional experience for teachers. And I never really thought of it, so I signed up for it, and what they did is they basically sent me into the schools in the Santa Barbara School District near UCSB, and I think my first teaching gig was in a junior high school, Locklean Junior High School, teaching 7th graders. And even though they were 7th graders, and we all know what 7th graders are like, I discovered that I really liked imparting knowledge to them.
So another question we have is, what are some of your interests, since we know that you're a pretty interesting guy with teaching earth science and geology, and you seem to be a very adventurous guy. So could you explain a little bit about that?
Sure. So interest, of course, inside and outside of school. I'm very enthusiastic about the subject I teach because I also like to do it for fun. You know, right now in the sky, if you go out and you look at Mars tonight, it's the closest it'll be in 2 years, and so I like to bring out the telescope and look at that. That's fun for me. You know, imparting knowledge to students is fun too. I think the best thing about teaching is that I wake up every morning liking what I do, and that's really what people should aspire to do in their lives, is to like what they do. Of course, if you looked at my license plate on my car, it's Geo Aviator, and that kind of shows my persona. And that's me. I love everything about the earth. I love everything about the natural sciences, but I also like to fly. So, you know, flying is something that kind of gets, you know, I guess you could say, calms me down and centers me. So that's kind of what I like to do on the weekends, whether it be flying full scale. I just got my glider rating, flying gliders, and also I like to fly remote control with my son and my daughter. So we go out and do that. So.
One more question for you. What are some things you have always wanted to do in the future, if you have anything in mind?
Yeah. That's what I call the bucket list.
Yeah.
My bucket list includes walking on the lavas of Kilauea in Hawaii.
Yeah.
I want to do that. I also told my students today, since we're doing solar science right now, I said I wanted to go to a northern or southern region to be able to see the Aurora Borealis or Aurora Australis, the northern or southern lights. I think that's on my bucket list. Let's see, what else is on my bucket list that I want to do? I'd like to travel more, obviously, because I feel that I've lived here all my life. I grew up in La Crescenta, just a town away, and I really
stayed in California.
I've stayed in California pretty much all my life. You know, only other places I've gone to are Mexico and Italy, and so I'd really like to do more traveling once the kids are older, and you know, provided we have enough money to do so. And so. And I see some of my older friends now, that, like one of our former teachers here, Mrs. Waters, she sends travel logs right now. She's doing a cruise around the world. She just sent information from South Africa. So,
oh my gosh, that's cool.
You know, so I think I really want to travel more too. That's just a general goal, is to travel.
Okay, have any like particular places you would like to go, or just anywhere?
Like I said, Kilauea in Hawaii is one that I want to go to. I'd like to get more culturally exposed to the world. Africa would be a neat place to go, I think. You know, I've been to Europe, just Italy, but I've been to Europe. You know, it'd be nice to see some other places where people, you know, don't live like we do, and people don't think like we do, and people don't talk like we do or look like we do. And I just would like to, you know, not only expose myself to that, but also my kids. Because I think the best thing you can do to educate yourself in life is to go out and see things. So,
Okay.
to experience.
Yeah. Well, that's all the questions.